These chapters is not included in many versions of the Bible, mainly because it's kind of raunchy. And as we all know, sexuality is considered impure in all churches. The churches are afraid that the readers might not readily comprehend the mysteries in these words. See, sexuality is created so that the energies of intuitive consciousness of two human beings can coalesce and converge with each other and become one. In this sense, sexuality is not impure, it's divine. Today, the readings are from the Songs of Solomon. Now, the Songs of Solomon is not included in many versions of the Bible, but in a few of them, especially the study Bibles. Those are the Bibles that are used in seminaries and universities. You will find the Songs of Solomon. And let me read chapter 4, verses 1 through 11. How beautiful you are, my love. How very beautiful you are. Your eyes are doves behind your veil. Your hair is like a flock of goats moving down the slopes of Gilead. Your teeth are like a flock of shorn ewes that have come up from the washing, all of which bear twins. And not one among them is bereaved. Your lips are like a crimson thread, and your mouth is lovely. Your cheeks are like halves of pomegranate behind your veil. Your neck is like the Tower of David, built in courses. On it hang 1,000 bucklers, all of them shields of warriors. Your two breasts are like two fawns, twins of a gazelle, that feed among the lilies. Until the day breathes and the shadows flee, I will hasten to the mountains of mirth and the hill of frankincense. You are altogether beautiful, my love. There is no flaw in you. Come with me from Lebanon, my bride, and come with me from Lebanon. Depart from the peak of Amana, from the peak of Senir and Hermon, from the dens of the lions, from the mountains of the leopards. You have ravished my heart, my sister, my bride. You have ravished my heart with the glance of your eyes, with one jewel of your necklace, with one jewel of your necklace. How sweet is your love, my sister, my bride. How much better is your love than wine, and the fragrance of your oils than any spice. Your lips distill nectar, my bride. Honey and milk are under your tongue. The scent of your garments is like the scent of Lebanon. That is the Songs of Solomon, chapter 4, from 1 through 11. These chapters is not included in many versions of the Bible, mainly because it's kind of raunchy. And as we all know, sexuality is considered impure in all churches. The churches are afraid that the readers might not readily comprehend the mysteries in these words. Those are some of the main reasons why this chapter is not included in many versions of the Bible. King Solomon was reputably a man of great wisdom. See, wisdom cannot be sustained unless there is regular contemplation, meditation, and prayers included as lifestyles. So King Solomon is talking about encountering God during his meditations in these verses. And for such encounters, the meditation must mature as meditating on the divinity of God. I will explain this more. For that to happen, we must transcend all attributes to the form and gender assignment to God. God must be realized as a formless phenomenon. Now, this cannot be attained through intellectual reasoning in our mind. We need to transcend our mind. Now, abstract mind is also very necessary when we are in this kind of meditation. Now, what is wrong with the followers of religions? They all perceive God as a material embodiment. We want to associate God with a form we could conceptualize. A male, an old man, long gray beard, and flowing hair. And we want to imagine that form as truth and believe in the truth it represents. We want to worship and celebrate this form. See, in religions, perceived truths are absolutes and concretes. For instance, in Christianity, Jesus as a historical human being lends itself to a lot of material learning. For instance, we know that the words he spoke are there in the Bible. And since he is God, we want to believe that what he said in the Bible is truth and nothing but the truth. And they are historically validated as we know it. So therefore, even the Old Testament and the New Testaments and everything, it is pretty much lends themselves to material, intellectual analysis and thought process and reasoning. See, in Hinduism, for instance, a class of ancient philosophers who did not find any recognized school of thought as we do in Christianity, but from various schools of thought helped to create forms of gods and deities. And then they intellectually put together as building blocks of theories, doctrines, dogmas, and symbolisms. And religions want to control us with the fear of the unknown, perhaps the fear of a punishing God. And they have set moralities as guidelines for living. Unfortunately, the divinity of Jesus is the least understood phenomenon in Christianity. Brothers and sisters, we must let go and transcend our material assignments to God, our gender assignments to God, and our mindset that sexuality is something impure. See, sexuality is created so that the energies of intuitive consciousness of two human beings can coalesce and converge with each other and become one. In this sense, sexuality is not impure, it's divine. When we transcend our material ideas about sexuality and God and embrace God as a formless phenomenon, such sensuous encounters as Solomon described are within our reach. See, when we talk about encounters, visions and encounters are what we witness in meditation. Well, this can happen even when we are not in meditation, but in the awareness of the divine. Now, during these visions, we are in a transcendent state of being in which we are not aware of our illusory realities of our material existence. We are not conscious of our body, but we are in perfect awareness. Our sensory awareness is now transformed into divine awareness. That is why it is so perfect. In this awareness, our visions and encounters are made real through a sensory experiences of feelings and emotions. Let's talk about St. John of the Cross. He is now a doctor of the church. And he was a Carmelite monk, a father. And he lived in the mid-1800s. And he was also the mentor and guide for St. Teresa of Avila, who also happens to be a doctor of the church. And he has written about his encounters as well. See, it is very hard to put in words what we witness and experience during encounters. King Solomon and St. John of the Cross expressed their encounters through poetry. Therefore, their writings must be explored in abstract thoughtfulness. In the writings we will read about St. John of the Cross, he describes his meditations as stillness. He describes his transcension as abandonment. He describes his material bodily awareness as darkness, meaning nothing exists. Let me read. And these stanzas are known as the dark night of the soul. One dark night, fired with love's urgent longings, the sheer grace. I went out unseen, my house being now all stilled. In darkness and secure, by the secret ladder disguised, sheer grace. In darkness and concealment, my house being now all stilled. On that glad night, in secret, for no one saw me, nor did I look at anything, with no other light or guide than the one that burned in my heart. This guided me more surely than the light of noon to where he was awaiting me. Him I knew very well, there in a place where no one appeared. O guided night, O night more lovely than dawn, O night that has united the lover with his beloved, transforming the beloved in her lover. Upon my flowering breast, which I kept holy for him alone, there he lay sleeping, and I caressing him. There in a breeze from the fanning cedars. When the breeze blew from the turret, as I parted his hair, it wounded my neck with its gentle hand, suspending all my senses. I abandoned and forgot myself, laying my face on my beloved. All things ceased. I went out from myself, abandoning my cares, forgotten among the lilies. Written by St. John of the Cross. See, encountering God in our meditations is a sensuous experience. It is delightful and it is orgasmic to our senses. Saint Teresa of Avila, who was guided by St. John of the Cross, Saint Teresa of Avila, who wrote volumes of books about mysticism and spirituality, describes the experience of encounters as intercourse. Brothers and sisters, when we let go of our associations to God with the form we could conceptualize and gender assignments, but embrace Him as a formless phenomenon, we would be ready to encounter God as God is, the I am. Encountering Jesus, God, in meditation is absolutely possible during our meditations. The Holy Spirit prepares us for such peaceful and delightful encounters. In such encounters, all of us can and will be transformed as new creations. Continuing our spiritual life in Jesus is absolutely possible. Wisdom as our source of intelligence and guidance is absolutely possible. We as creative partners with our Father in heaven is absolutely possible. From then on, the kingdom on earth will become our existential reality. Divine wisdom has an expression that is purest and perfect love. Creation is a purest and perfect expression of love. Sustenance of creation is also a purest and perfect expression of the love of God. Life itself is a purest and perfect expression of God. We are loved unconditionally. That is the purest and perfect love of God. In the purest and perfect love, sexuality and the union with another intuitive consciousness is not impure.